The video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the video you're watching right now, we're going to be talking about the futuristic game on the Atari 800 XL. That's right, Wizard of War. Let's load this floppy and get started. Oh good, it doesn't work. So advanced, so cutting edge, so broken. Well, this is where the video would end, but I just so happen to have the cartridge version. So let's slap it in and get started. The first problem you're going to encounter is not being able to play the game, because your joystick has to be plugged into the second controller port. Pretty sneaky, Atari. Before you start the game, you're going to want to slap in some extra lives. So push that option button a couple times and start the game. The game lets you know when you're ready to go because it says, "Get ready, go!" Well, it doesn't actually say a voice, but whatever. So you guide your laser knight around a maze, blasting giant cats, yellow Pac-Man dragons, and giant walking jumbo shrimp. Those guys turn invisible sometimes, so you'll have to master using the radar. It's at the bottom of the screen there. After you laser blast all those monsters, the warlock will show up, and he'll kill you dead. So you gotta act quick and blast him first. Sometimes you'll get a crazy light show, and other times the wizard will show up. He zaps around the screen, and he melts your face with lightning bolts. He knows how to use technology. The best part about this game is that it's 2 players. I like to invite my friend Scott over and just shoot him a bunch of times to get 1,000 points. I mean, you're supposed to work together, but what's the fun in that? In conclusion, it's a great game. Also, you can tell your friends that you're using advanced technology. Isn't that great? Thanks for watching and go away. The video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we're taking a look at the Atari 5200. So stylish, so big, so unnecessary. Let's talk about the controllers, smooth analog joystick, and fun to the touch squishy buttons. This fancy controller has start, pause, and reset, which was a new thing at the time. No more getting up and hitting those switches like on the Atari 2600. Now let's take a look at those fantastic graphics. Classic and smooth. Okay, I can't move to the right. I can still jump. That's pretty good. No. My controller is broken. Like most controllers out there, you can buy third-party controllers, but I'm not dropping $400 Canadian on one. Why the hell did I buy this? Oh well, at least I can tell my friends that I'm using advanced technology. Isn't that great? The video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be taking a look at the ColecoVision. The ColecoVision. So advanced, so technology. With its sleek design and multiplayer logo, this system is one of the best. The game cartridges themselves even look cool. Let's compare it to an Atari 2600 cart. Yep, nothing but boring beards and mustaches. We should be comparing it to an Atari 5200 cart, but whatever, who cares. The ColecoVision had a few awesome accessories, such as the roller controller, super action joysticks, the expansion module number 2, and the expansion module number 1. The expansion module number 1 lets you play all those Atari 2600 games, so you'll never have to touch a 2600 ever again. Sorry, Atari. The ColecoVision had a lot of great arcade ports, such as Burger Time, Zaxxon, Frenzy, and Donkey Kong, to just name a few. Let's talk about the controllers. Solid arcade joystick, smooth action buttons, and a keypad to slide in those overlays. Yeah, kinda. Most people don't like the ColecoVision controller, but hey, no problem. Just unplug it and pick your favorite controller. Overall, the ColecoVision is a great system. Have you tried a ColecoVision today? The best part about it is, you can tell your friends you're using advanced technology. Isn't that great? The video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be taking a look at the little computer that helped save the video game industry. That's right, the Nintendo Family Computer. Released in 1983, this little computer paved the way for the North American market. The ColecoVision might have had a major influence on Nintendo at the time. When Nintendo saw the ColecoVision, they were really impressed by its advanced graphics. Nintendo attempted to buy the rights to the ColecoVision, and either the price was too high or Coleco flat out said no. So Nintendo said, "Who needs your ColecoVision? I'll make my own with blackjack and hookers." Now I could be wrong about all this, so let's see if the guys at the Famicom Dojo can help me out.
Did someone say my name? I thought I heard something, but the accent was all weird.
Back away, Sean. I can talk to these people. You see, I took a Canadian language course in college. Hey there, eh? I got a toonie and I'm looking for some poutine, eh? Let's go back to my flat and watch the red-green show, eh?
Wow. What did you ask him?
I don't know. I think he wanted to know about the deal between ColecoVision and Nintendo.
The ColecoVision? No. You're thinking of Atari.
No, I don't think...
It's okay. I get those confused too. Mostly because I don't remember anything that happened before 1984.
The book or the year?
See, Nintendo had been in talks with Atari to be their exclusive worldwide distribution partner starting in Christmas of 1983, but first they had to deal with a 100-pound gorilla in the room. Whoops! It was Donkey Kong.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
It was Donkey Kong.
Well, I believe Nintendo was influenced by Coleco. Look at the logos and the box color on both systems. Plus, both systems' power and reset buttons are practically in the same place. And they both have an expansion port on the front.
Seriously, you're blowing my mind right now.
I guess it's just a Coleco conspiracy. Thanks, guys. The Famicom, as the cool kids call it, has 2 built-in controllers and on the second player controller a microphone. Not only can you annoy your friends with it, but some games actually used it. For example, in The Legend of Zelda, you can yell into the mic and kill all the Pole's voice on the screen. The Famicom also has a neat accessory called the Famicom Disk System, which played games on diskettes. Duh! At the time, games didn't have battery backups, so the disk system could save your game progress. There's also an expansion port in the front for your badass light gun, which I don't own.
I do.
Your keyboard, which I also don't own.
I do.
Your power glove, which I don't own for the Famicom.
I do.
Isn't that an NES Power Glove?
And 3D glasses, which I don't own.
I do. Oh, come on!
Me too.
Basically, this port is for stuff that I don't own. Anyways, now you can tell your friends you're using advanced technology. Isn't that great? But Julian, don't you want to play some Intelligent Television?
No.
Why not?
Because I like my trucks more better.
Ah, the video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be taking a look at the Intellivision. The Intellivision. So advanced. So gold. So wood grain. The Intellivision was released by Mattel in 1980 to try and take down Atari's stronghold on the video game market. Let's talk about the controllers. The controllers are very light compared to an Atari joystick, but it's not a joystick. It's a keypad or something. The fire buttons are very... What? Hello?
Derek, please love me. I'm video game too.
The fuck? Anyways, the fire buttons are really small, and I find playing the Intellivision hurts my hand. You can add a joystick, but that involves taking the controller apart, and I mean, who wants to do that? Well, let's look at some game cards. Yep, nothing much to them. Pretty boring compared to an Atari 2600 game. Well, let's look at some games. Oh good, it doesn't work. So advanced, so technology, so broken. Well, good thing I was smart enough to buy two. The graphics are a big improvement compared to the Atari 2600, but better graphics doesn't necessarily mean better games. Plus, with a lot of Intellivision games, you need the overlays and instructions to figure out how to play. For the Atari 2600, you just plug it in and play. With the Intellivision, you gotta sit there and figure out what's going on. I guess that's why they call it Intelligent Television. You gotta use your brain. Let's try Space Armada. I think I've seen this before. It's kinda like Rescue Rangers. Space Invaders. Pretty sneaky Intellivision. Let's move on to the IntelliVoice Synthesis module. This thing was compatible with a whole 4 games. I happen to own 3, but once again, I don't have the instructions or the overlay, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh well, at least the voice is cool. So should you buy an Intellivision? Yeah, sure. Well, no. For some reason this model doesn't work anymore. I own two, and I had to take apart both of them to try and get them to work. So if you're interested in buying an Intellivision, go for the Model 2. Why'd I buy these? Oh well, at least I can tell my friends I'm using advanced technology. Isn't that great? Ah, the video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be taking a look at the Vectrex. The Vectrex! So advanced! So technology! So heavy! The Vectrex was released in 1982 by General Consumer Electronics. The Vectrex uses a vector screen, which gives smooth arcade-style graphics. The downside is that everything is in black and white. If you want color, you have to put on these plastic overlays on the screen. I don't own any of those, so here's a picture of one. Now don't let the lack of color get you down. The system is portable, so you can take a Vectrex anywhere with you.
It's a Vectrex! I know, it's portable!
Anyways, the Vectrex comes with a built-in game called Mindstorm, which is an Asteroids clone. But Asteroids clone or not, this is one fine game. Let's talk about the controller. It feels just like holding a brick. The joystick has smooth analog control, and to the right, 4 large arcade buttons, which is pretty awesome considering having a controller that looked like a phone was popular at the time. Now let's look at some games. Berserk. The game cards are pretty small, but they pack awesome power. I seem to have a problem moving. Oh. My controller's broken. I think it's broken. It's so advanced, so technology, so doesn't work so well anymore. Well, I had some other games to show you on the Vectrex, but my controller just stopped working. Well, at least you can tell your friends you're watching advanced technology. Isn't that great? Why does this keep happening? Ah, the video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be taking a look at the Odyssey 2. So advanced, so technology. Look at this giant box, and all its majesty. The Odyssey 2 was unleashed on the world in 1979 to take down those wood-grain idiots.
But Derek, I thought we had something special.
I'm sorry, Atari. There's someone else.
Depression file found. Sadness installed.
Here's looking at you, 2600.
Sob, cry.
The Odyssey 2 has a sleek, futuristic design and claims to be the ultimate computer video game. Take the word computer seriously. That's what it is. It's not a toy. Based on computer technology, the Odyssey 2 is a highly sophisticated electronic device which can be easily operated by all ages.
What? I don't know how to use this.
Let's take a look at its advanced joysticks. Smooth, comfortable, stylish, hardwired into the system. But don't forget about the alphanumeric membrane keyboard, with buttons so smooth you don't even know you're touching them without looking directly at it. The game boxes are amazing, a bit overkill, but still cool. But enough about style and technology, let's play some games. Whoa, Speedway? Sounds intense! Whoa, this game is amazing and playable, and no, it's not like Pac-Man. I mean, have you played Pac-Man? Yeah, completely different. This game is actually good. So, should you buy the Odyssey 2? Probably. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a loser talking about video games. But at least I can tell my friends that I'm using advanced technology. Isn't that great? Ah, the video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be taking a look at Coleco's Go Fuck Yourself to Atari. The Coleco Gemini. So stylish, so small, so not wood grain. Coleco already released the expansion module number 1 for the ColecoVision, so they decided, why not release a standalone system? And that's exactly what they did. Not only did they improve on the design, but they fixed the joysticks. No more switching between paddles and joysticks to play games. The Gemini joysticks have built-in paddles and a much smaller and smoother joystick. Let's see which one Julian likes better. Julian, which one do you like better, the Coleco Gemini or the Atari 2600?
Dad, go away.
Coleco ported some of their top games to the system, such as Mousetrap and Donkey Kong. They even tossed a few over to Intellivision. Mind you, they all look and sound like crap, but the gameplay's still there. So should you buy a Coleco Gemini? Sure, why not? That means you don't have to touch that crappy Atari 2600 ever again. But the main thing is, you can tell your friends that using advanced technology. Isn't that great? Ah, the video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be going back to the futuristic year of 1995. When I was pissed off about my Ghostbusters Ghost Zapper not working, and it's still not working to this day. Come on, you piece of shit. Oh, jeez!
What the hell are you doing?
I'm sorry. But we're not here to talk about faulty Ghostbuster products. We're here to look at Nintendo's vision of the future. Let me introduce to you the Virtual Boy. Look at it in all its red and black. So stylish, so sleek, so future. The Virtual Boy was released in August of 1995 for the real low cheap price of $179. So what advanced technology do these goggles hold? Don't look yet! Jeez, we gotta talk about the controller, you dummy. The controller feels pretty dang sweet in your hands. It has 2 D-pads. If that doesn't say future, I don't know what does. There's also round trigger buttons on the bottom. Oh, and who could forget about the power switch? Well, enough about plastic and design. Let's try out the only game I own. Wario Land. Amazing. Just look at those graphics. Truly ahead of its time. Wait, no! That's not right at all. Of course, like most things on this show, everything breaks before I talk about it. So let's try to repair it. Now, some people say to fix the problem with the display, you cook it in the oven, serve with Skittles, and top with Captain Planet. But I'm not allowed to use the oven. Some people say to heat it up with a soldering iron, but that seems like way too much direct heat. I just heated mine with a hairdryer, but this only works as a temporary fix. It was much safer and worked just fine. Now let's try out this game. Look at it, in all its 3D greatness. Unfortunately, you can't experience the 3D effect without sticking your own face into this. Oh, and the game's pretty rad. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. With the Virtual Boy, you can tell your friends are using the most advanced technology. Isn't that great? Unfortunately, you can't experience the 3D effect without sticking your own face into this. Why did I say it like that? Ah, the video games. So much advanced technology. Today on the show you're watching right now, we'll be taking a look at Atari's attempt at getting itself back into the video game race. Let me introduce to you the Atari 7800 Pro system. So slanted, so rainbow striped, so meh. At the time, Nintendo dominated the market with Sega trailing behind. Atari 7800 was originally going to launch in 1984, but things weren't going so well for video games at the time. They kept it on the shelf until they saw that video games were making a comeback. They launched it in 1986, alongside with a smaller Atari 2600, which was referred to as the Atari Junior. I have one, but I can't find it right now. The 7800 was also backwards compatible with 2600 games. Early models had an expansion port on the side, but it was later removed. Let's take a look at one of their commercials.
Don Mallard, captain of the U.S. video game team.
When I'm not going for high scores in the arcades, I'm home playing games on my Atari 7800. As an expert, I like the 7800 because there are great arcade hits like Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong Jr. Plays all the 2600 games. As a consumer, I like the 7800 because most games cost under $20.
The Atari 7800, the choice of the experts.
Well, Donnie, you're playing a Nintendo arcade machine, and then you say you like the 7800 because you can play Mario Bros. And Donkey Kong Jr. You know who else has those games? Nintendo, you dingus. At least you can play your 2600 games. Let's take a look at the controller. What the hell is this thing? Even Sega was smart enough to copy what Nintendo was doing. Well, actually, the 7800 does have a gamepad, but it was sold in limited quantities in America, but it was very popular in Europe. Time to move on to the games. Since Donnie talked so highly about playing Nintendo games on the 7800 Pro system, let's take a look at Mario Bros. Well, they improved the graphics from their previous system, but used the same sound as the 2600. And yeah, it's Mario Bros. Oh, and perfect, my controller doesn't work. It just wants to be as cool as its big brother. And, have faulty controllers. The 7800 was usually packed with pole position too. And all I have to say is that it's no rad racer. Well, should you buy a 7800? Probably, but at least you can tell your friends you watch some not so advanced technology. Isn't that great?